Sponsored by Andrea Mason, Press Play, Plan Life According to You, LLC. Take care of your mental health. Find inner peace by rediscovering and loving you for who you truly are. Take advantage of this exclusive offer and choose to press play today. Thank you.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
The red, white, and blue. No, I'm just kidding. Wrong person. Guys, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? This is the host of the Buzzing With Marlowe podcast, and I am yours truly, Warren Marlowe. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, share, most importantly, subscribe. Hit that notification state on content with all our platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Tumblr, Threads, all that. We are there. That's right, guys. And you catch us on all audio platforms as well. Just to name a few on the top right here. We got Amazon Podcasts. We got Apple Pods, all Apple platforms as well. We have Deezer. We have iTunes, we have Pandora, we have Spotify, we got YouTube and YouTube Music, and of course you can listen to us on iHeartRadio and on Spotify. Yes. All right, guys, if you could tell, I'm pretty hyped. So let's give a shout out to the sponsors that is making me feel this way, and I'm talking about that Dubby. That Dr. W.GG. You can go and get you some of that jitterless energy. As you can tell, they've got so many flavors, and I am pushing punch right now in my system right now. Guys, if you are sensitive to caffeine and stuff like that, if you're unsure which one to get, you can also get a sample pack they have a shaker and 3 flavors of your choice. So if you are unsure, go and recommend that one, and it doesn't kill your wallet as well. You can also get a mystery bottles. You can also get stickers. You can also get even a smaller shaker just for, just that lovely energy. You get an extra large mouse pad, shirts, merch, whatever. Type in the promo code BUZZ20 with the capital B and get 10% off of your purchase. Shout out to W Energy, giving Buzzing With Marlowe Nation that jitterless energy. All right, guys. Also, I want to talk about the merch. We got some upgrades coming up, so I definitely got to update this next week. But obviously, you see the American Prodigy line is out and ready. Guys, he is ready to roll. He has got his list and bookings ready to go. You see that Prodigy Nation t-shirt, go and order it because they're going to be gone. They're gone. We only have a certain amount left. So you got your long sleeves, short sleeves, V-necks, all that, man. We got them there. Next week, we will officially announce the tank tops that will be coming out for that. Also, we got every setback makes one heck of a comeback. That is a motto I live by each and every day. If you feel like that motto will get you through the day, get you through your years and stuff like that, go in there and get you this awesome merch. And even cooler, it's got the Morphin into Season 5 logo on the back. And also, it tells you all the platforms that you can, listen or watch the Buzzing With Marlowe channels, man. It's great different colors. We have them in all type of t-shirts, guys, even tank tops as well. I just ordered 2 of them. I've ordered a blue, a red, and actually I ordered 3 of them. I ordered that blue one, that red, and a black one. I was looking for a white, but it didn't look too well with that one. Just because I don't do good wearing white clothing, sadly. I get it dirty quick. So I got those shirts as well. You also can get gift cards on Bonfire now as well. That's something that they've started doing, like, I think a month ago. And of course, they have our original morphing into season 5 logo. Man, this is going to be the longest season we've had in Buzzing with Marlowe history, just because we know I usually take a break in the summertime, but we are not. So this logo is going to be standing a lot longer, baby. Yes, yes, yes. And of course, guys, we have our hats and our original Buzzing with Marlowe logo as well. Go in there, go to bonfire/Buzzing with Marlowe, type in the promo code BUZZ20, and you will get 10% off of your purchase. Shout out to Bonfire for always giving us, Buzzing with Marlowe fans, our apparel needs. All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for all the love and support that we have been getting this year, with the wrestling, with the bookings, with the podcast standpoints. I mean, the achievements we have accomplished on the audio platforms. Definitely shout out to Good Pods. I just got an email again. We just hit the top 3 in indie wrestling podcasts as well. So I want to give a shout out to my boys from the commission, because that is actually the episode that it gave recognition for. I'm also going to do, obviously we got Buzzing with Gaming. Those won't be no audios. I don't think anybody's going to want to hear audio of someone playing a video game. I did have people requesting it, which was kind of weird, but I mean, if I get a good amount of requests, I guess we'll try it out and see how it works. We have Buzzing with Gaming. We have Wrestle Rant is going to come back as well. That's going to be something that I'm going to start doing a weekly thing as well, especially if I'm not able to make a Commission Talks episode or not, which I shouldn't have a problem right now. But I'll definitely get some Wrestle Rants. I definitely want to get a sports rant going on soon. So I've been talking to a couple of my friends, and we would get one set up. Definitely talking about the WNBA, the NBA finals, and of course what's going on with the NFL. So I definitely want to get some talks on that. But I want to give a shout out to my boys from the commission. Man, we have been killing it this year. Shout out to Brian with the awesome graphic and the music that he's been doing each and every time for us. A great addition. Shout out to Blackheart, me and him doing the After Darks on Mondays. They've been a real good hit. Shout out to Professor Bear, man. He's been an awesome guest lately. Every time I've been a guest somewhere, I've been finding him as well. So it's always a pleasure. We've got a lot of things coming up. But guys, I'm not going to ramble on anymore. I want to talk about the guests that we have today. But first, I want to thank my sponsor for this podcast, my great friend Andrea Mason, the Press Play podcast. Man, I'm telling you right now, man, this woman does magic. I don't believe in a lot of things when I talk about life coaches and stuff, and I love the drive that all these people give. Sometimes I feel like they do it for the money. Andrea is not one of them. She is one of these ones that really wants to help you. The stuff that she has done for me, I couldn't thank more enough. It's always, I feel like that's the littlest I can do is, like, appreciate and share everything this woman does, because she does wonders for a woman that's went through what she has gone through in her past, from childhoods and stuff like that. It's just a remarkable thing what she is doing. And more importantly, man, Andrea is never going to forget where she came from. And more importantly, man, she is out to help the next person, regardless of how successful and all great accomplishments that she has accomplished. Her main goal and focus is to help the next person, and that's something I really respect. So always a shout out to Andrea Mason. I need her to message me pretty soon, because we're gonna hook her up with some Buzzing with Marlowe merch as well. Also, guys, I want to talk about, we will be doing a summer giveaway. That's right, guys. I want to give a shout out to my wife last time. She won the WrestleMania giveaway. She don't watch Raw. She don't watch SmackDown. She damn sure didn't watch it. The whole build to WrestleMania. And the way she predicted this card was just, I don't know how to say it. Like, it was insane. But always a shout out to the wife. I know a lot of people have been asking about when Samantha coming back. We will be doing a live Q&A in 2 weeks. Yes, guys, mark your calendars now. In 2 weeks, a live Q&A with the wife and myself. I don't know how it's going to go. As y'all know the format, I don't pre-plan questions. So we're going to let y'all take control of it. We're going to let y'all ask the questions, and we're going to give you the answers. And nothing's off limits. Just be kind of respectful, just a little bit. Too many couples, I know how people can get on social media. I mean, I don't care, but my wife, respect. That's all I ask. But guys, no more rambling on. My guest today, I am super honored to talk to these two wonderful ladies. A bond that began due to two traumatic events. Both of them going to the hospital, being told, hey, you have cancer. One had breast cancer. The other one had a pretty severe cancer that is really uncurable. What I've heard from both of them, that they bonded based off of this huge scare, and it became, in a way, I always say every setback makes one heck of a comeback. This setback built a magnificent best friend type relationship between these two. And not only that, they are both in remission, and more importantly, they are out to tell their story, and also they are the host of Two Girls with Cancer podcast. Definitely check them out. The links are below. Go and give them a follow, give them a subscribe. They're on YouTube and on certain audio platforms as well, as it says on the link below. But guys, I ain't gonna waste no more time. So when we come back, we will be joined with Becky and Ashley, the Two Girls with Cancer podcast. And guys, you know how we go in 3, 2, 1, right now.
Perfect. Okay. Oh. Wow. Sis.
That's it, buddy. You're out of here.
right, guys, I am here and I am joined with Becky and Ashley. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Oh, it is Friday. Thank you. But how y'all doing? Where y'all currently at?
So we're in a town called Spruce Grove. It's in Alberta, Canada. So if you're a hockey follower, not sure if you are, Edmonton Oilers playoff starting out.
Okay,
That's our team.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been learning, definitely doing this and stuff. Like hockey is a big deal. I live in Florida. I know we have a big hockey team out here.
Isn't
but
one of your teams in the finals too?
I guess I don't really follow I don't really follow hockey, which is sad to say because I have a couple of podcasters, and like I'm starting to realize, hockey is a overall big sport now because I have a couple of guys that linked out in Boston and stuff like that, and I didn't think they would even follow hockey, and they bleed the Bruins and all that, and I'm just like, okay, I guess people really care about it. Care? Are you kidding me? Like da. I was like, my bad, I hit a nerve, my bad. But
where we are, hockey is
it's big,
and in Edmonton right now is this huge.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. Obviously, Canada is big on hockey and stuff like that. Obviously, y'all are big. I mean, Canada is real big. Obviously, where the world's best pro wrestler standpoint is and stuff like that. So,
oh really?
Cool.
Are y'all born and raised in Canada?
Yep. Ontario for me.
Same.
Yeah.
Ontario.
Oh yeah.
So how far is Ontario compared to Edmonton?
Like 3-day drive, TJ.
Far. So
yeah.
That's far. Toronto is above I don't know, New York. Like I remember going to Buffalo as a kid a lot.
Okay.
And then now we're above Montana.
Okay, hey, no problem with that. Yeah. Hey, obviously, Canada. Is the weather really nice out there right now?
No.
Not yet.
Really? Oh man, I feel bad for y'all.
I know it's the end of May. It's
like 96, 97 over here right now. So I'm thinking it's cold everywhere.
That's about 33 degrees Celsius. 33? That's huge. That's very
We're
hot.
sitting at like what?
Maybe
12?
10, 15. So that would be about double it's 30, like 60 maybe.
Oh no. That's more sweater weather for me. No,
I know. Yeah, we just had our long weekend last weekend, Victoria Day. I think it's equivalent to Memorial Day. And it was so cold. It was probably 40 degrees, 45. It was awful.
Are y'all are not big fans of cold weather and stuff like that, right?
Moving to Florida. I will go to Florida in a heartbeat. Bring me
warm.
So y'all really want that hot weather and stuff like that. I think it's like currently 96. I know my wife was just complaining. She's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hot." I'm like, chill. It's fine. You
come
go
to Canada.
outside. You're fine.
You wear winter coats when you're here.
That's the most awkward part. You're wearing jackets in the summertime. That's just got to be like a whole different concept. But Becky, Ashley, if nobody knows who y'all are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So Ashley and I are two girls with cancer, I guess that's the way to describe it. We have a podcast called Two Girls with Cancer. Now, it's a bit of a misnomer because her and I both are actively without cancer. Yeah. And so,
thank you.
Yeah. And we've actually toyed with changing the name because, Two Girls with Cancer sounds a little bit more negative, but we're going to go with it for now. I think we are two girls who recently had cancer.
Yeah.
And are both in, I guess, quote unquote remission right now. But yeah, we just started a podcast in April where we talk about our experience or talk about different things that has helped us get through this process, helped us get rid of cancer. Sometimes we just need to vent. Sometimes episodes are just us crying and complaining. So
I cry the most.
Ashley likes a good cry. I'm a little more.
The form of cancer I had is a hormonal cancer, and it's kind of out of whack right now, but we can't fix it, so I cry.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I say it numerous times, especially after COVID. Podcasts has excelled crazily. It's crazy how the basic, just a basic podcast can people hear worldwide now and stuff like that. And I love how y'all talk about, how y'all got this name, but y'all don't have it no more. Y'all are in remission and y'all been like, this kind of does sound negative, but in a way, that's something that y'all, I mean, is not a great bragging right, but it's something that y'all have earned because y'all are in remission. So it's not a bad thing to say, hey, with the cancer standpoint, y'all don't have it no more. Y'all are fully in remission. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So
Thank
are
you.
y'all like literally born best friends, stuff like that? So how did you, both of you two get together? Like how did all that transpire?
Through cancer.
Yeah,
Through
we
cancer,
met
really?
last year.
Yeah. We live in the same smaller town.
Yeah, she lives a mile away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we had
So
lots
y'all
of
became
mutual
best friends based off of a
Cancer.
really traumatic
Yeah.
experience, basically.
Just what we went through.
Yeah, we say this all the time. Like, we have good friends, but no one really understands what
No.
you're going through until you go through it. So her and I had each other through all of this, and one of her friends had reached out to me. It was a guy I went to high school with, and he said, and this was like a month into me having cancer, and he said, my best friend, she has cancer. She's our age. Like, I don't know what to do. And I reached out to her. I was like, hey, you don't know me. And then I saw we had like 50, 75 mutual friends. Like, we're the
I
same
actually knew
age.
her brother.
Yeah, knew my
Yeah.
brother.
Okay.
Like,
But I
somehow we
never
just
knew
never
her.
met.
Yeah.
So shout out to the brother, right? Shout out to the
Yeah.
brothers. That's what started this amazing friendship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I love that.
So yeah, we've
That's
just
awesome
had each other.
story.
Yeah, we've just
That's
had each
pretty
other to
awesome.
rely on through all of this and bounce ideas off each other and support each other when we felt like we were kind of alone in this.
Yeah. Because it is lonely.
Crazy.
People who hasn't personally gone through it, they won't know the struggles and the mentality. Like my form of cancer, there's really nothing they can do for me. Like I just had a doctor's appointment yesterday. It was awful. I just bawled because she's like, it's just a waiting game for me because the cancer always comes back and then it has to form a big enough mass for us to go for surgery again, for it to be cut out. It's just, the mental that it plays on you, it's hard. And people don't get it because I didn't do chemo or radiation. I didn't lose my hair. I don't look like a typical sick girl, so people judge you, and it's hard. But if you need that good support system, to get through it.
It's crazy how you just said, you didn't go through the chemo and stuff like that. And people judge you for not doing the chemo. Like okay. I've been very big on this concept for a while. I don't believe in pills. I don't believe in, painkillers, stuff like that. I tell people all the time. I tell people all the time, man, I don't even take Tylenol. Like you ask my wife, she'll go, hey, you're sore, take a Motrin. No, I won't do it.
You're like, I'm a martyr. I will suffer through
I will stick through the pain. Now, I won't lie. I did have a recent injury. Actually, I had a freak accident at the gym. I actually dropped a bar with 155 pounds, which I was warming up, whatever. And I remember I was training with this one particular guy I trained with at a wrestling school. And I remember we were talking. I said, hey, I need a spot just in case, because I'm very clumsy when it comes to, the bench pressing standpoint. I don't like it, but you got to do it. And I went down, and all I remember is we were having a conversation. I just feel this bar just drop on my lip. And my biggest worry was I thought I broke my teeth. I thought I was about to be pissed. And I go over there. And the funny thing is I had a spotter, but guess what? I threw the bar off myself. So what was the point of the spotter? Throw this thing up, and I'm mad as can be. Like, I'm just fuming. I go over to the mirror. I'm touching my teeth first thing because I'm thinking my teeth are gone. I'm thinking my front teeth is gone. I'm full hillbilly mode for the rest of my life. And I mean, the two front ones, like perfectly, those are going to be gone forever. Because I know my adult teeth are fully grown in. There ain't no way they're growing back. So I touch my teeth. I'm going like this. Okay, everything's fine. So I go back to the bar. I'm thinking everything's good. And I just start seeing, just starts leaking down. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And of course, I go show my wife. I'd send a picture to my wife, whatever. And my mom and all them, and they're like, you need to go to the ER. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm fine, Probably patch it up and I'll be fine. Because it didn't look like it was that bad. Well, little did I know, there was like a huge gap in between. And luckily, I had you know, the little sutures, whatever, which it did wonderful job. But I was in a lot of pain. Which you're telling a guy that literally eats four meals a day, he eats a lot of high protein standpoint, and you're telling me I got to live off mashed potatoes, applesauce, and pudding, which the sugar-free pudding was actually really not that bad. And I haven't had pudding in like a year, and I was like, wow, this is not bad at all. It was sugar-free, but still, I'm just like, there is a bad obsession now with the sugar-free pudding. And I go, and I mean, it felt like literally when, you know, that feeling when you get your wisdom tooth pulled out and like it's just an agonizing pain. I actually succumbed and I took a Tylenol. And I was just like, it didn't do nothing. It didn't do nothing. And I'm like, no, it didn't. It's not in my system. It hasn't been in my system. And gosh, I can't even tell you how long it's been since I took one. And I'm just like, I felt nothing. I was supposed to go to sleep, everything. I'm like, this thing is crazy. The believability to these things are just insane. And it's like, my thing about these theories, like I definitely want to talk about this for sure. And you just said you didn't do chemo. I've literally said it countless times. If someone told me, hey, I have a possibility of having cancer or whatever, my first instinct is not going to be chemo. I just feel like, you know, we go to that point, and I've learned this too now with the doctor's standpoint, is we think, oh, because they are a doctor, they know more than us. And sadly, I've gotten too wise when it comes to like my body and stuff, because I literally say it all the time. Before I started going into the gym, I read a big book that was literally talking about, you know, how to process everything with your body and everything. I read that for a solid year before I even really started heavily getting into the lifting weights mentality and stuff like that, because I really wanted to do everything that right mentality, because I'm not going to do something because in reality, workout tears your bones up. It tears your muscles. It's not, you look great, whatever, but you're tearing your muscle to grow an excelling standpoint to make your body more built up. And I was just amazed by like when they were talking about, you know, hey, this. Like I remember when I tore my when I tore my ACL, I actually have stem cells in my leg. And I remember when they said, hey, you know, rest, whatever. I didn't rest. I literally was just like, all right, deliberately, instead of a lower body standpoint, I was always working out my upper body, just doing everything. my good leg, I'm trying to do like one-legged movements and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, because I wasn't supposed to be back for a year, I got back in 3 months.
Oh wow!
And I started realizing, I'm like, man, there's a lot of stuff that's bogus when it comes to like, you know, predictions on healing bodies and stuff like that. And I mean, it's just like I've really got a different concept at like maybe I'm not just gonna succumb just because it's their input. Even though they're a doctor, and I'm not shunning every doctor in the world. I don't want no doctor coming in here and be like, hey, you go get this, whatever. But it's just like in my mindset, like y'all just said about the chemo standpoint, is I feel like there's more choices you could do before you go to a chemo standpoint.
See, I don't know. I don't know where I would have, because it wasn't on the table for me, but I don't know what my decision would have been.
But were you as quote unquote crunchy before you got sick?
I thought I was healthy. I meal prepped. I worked out. I did, you know.
But were you like full?
I was half. I wasn't conspiracy. I was getting there. You know, I knew what I needed to do to take care of my body, I thought. But when that came and there was no option, so I was like, well, now I definitely have to do the holistic
you have to
route.
rely on yourself. You have to rely on, you know, trusting your body and fueling.
And I think maybe that's maybe why. I don't know why I was able to get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't know that answer.
So for me, I was like you, like I was against everything chemo. I watched my sister-in-law pass away from breast cancer 15 years ago. And from that point, I was like, I'm never doing chemo. We've said this before, like chemo's for stupid people who don't know how to educate themselves, who only listen to a doctor, and that's it. So I was dead set against it when I got sick. Like, absolutely not. I'm not doing chemo. I wanted to go to Mexico. I wanted to do as holistic as I could down there. And so I did get myself down to Mexico. And literally my first day in Mexico, my doctor said to me, "You need chemo." I was like, "No, I don't. I came here to not do chemo. Thank you. I came specifically to Mexico. I'm spending all this money."
How far is that travel?
Oh, well, 3 or 4 hour flight for sure. But because of the vaccination, remember when we couldn't come to America as Canadians if you weren't vaccinated? So I had to fly into Mazatlan first. To Mazatlan first, and then to Tijuana, where I did my treatment, which was okay. I mean, we stayed at a resort. But yeah, so I was like, "No, I'm not doing chemo. Like, what are you talking about?" And so every day the doctors there were like, "You should consider it." And so I finally did it down there, but it's so different. It's like 30% instead of 100% dosage or potency.
Really?
You don't get sick. Like I would have it. It was like a 4-hour kind of procedure where they would give me another drug called Herceptin, which is a type of like immunotherapy / chemotherapy drug with the chemo, and I'd be fine. After I was done, I'd go for a walk. I'd go grocery shopping down there. I was fine. So I did that for 6. And then I came home thinking like, hey, I'm better. Like I know that I'm better because Mexico healed me. Well, no, I wasn't. I was definitely in the right direction, but I wasn't. The cancer wasn't gone. And it took me at least another month before I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't have any more money to go back down to Mexico, and it's hard to be away from your kids for that long. And finally, I was listening to a podcast, and a guy was on there talking like me, like he was crunchy, he wanted nothing to do with chemo, and his doctor kept saying like, "You're dumb, you're gonna die if you don't do it." And then he agreed that he would do it, but he would also do everything holistic that he could do with it, to work simultaneously with it. And he would also believe that his body could handle it, and he would trust in his body and the treatment, 100%, and not go back and forth on it. And so I listened to that, and I was like, I could do it. And again, I toyed with it for weeks. Like at this point, by the time I agreed that I was going to do traditional chemo, it had been from February 1st diagnosis to the end of June. So 4 months where I really toyed with the idea. And then I finally was like, fine, let's do it. You did all the holistic. Now let's try all the, quote unquote traditional, or the more mainstream version of cancer treatment, and see if, if that works as well. And that was a very humbling experience because, again, like you, I wouldn't even take an Advil or Tylenol unless I was dying. So I did it, and I mean, I hated every second of it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's disgusting. I hate that I put that in my body, and the aftermath of it has been hard. Trying to get that out of my body is a lot, but it worked for me, and it's because the type of breast cancer that I had was very responsive to chemo. And I think it was like, a very humbling experience for me because I was not having it. Like I said, it was chemo's for dumb people.
But you also did the holistic too. Yeah. I think in her case, the holistic and the chemo, they worked together. Yeah. Like for me,
it wasn't like you just succumbed straight to the chemo.
Right.
Like you looked at different options before.
People were wondering like how I was in the middle of chemo, because like I did lose my hair, but not all of it. Like I had a ton of fuzz still, and I didn't even lose like all my body hair, and I'd be sick for like 2, 3, maybe 4 days, where it honestly feels like a hangover, a really bad hangover, and then I was fine. And I would be out and about, I'd be social, I'd be active, I had wigs, so you couldn't even tell. I'd have my makeup done, and no one would have any idea that I was mid chemo, because I genuinely felt really good. And I definitely believe that it's because of all the holistic treatment that I was doing prior and during. Because to just go into it as sick as I was and then just have chemo, like you would literally be a shell of yourself. There's a reason why a lot of people don't make it through chemo, is because it's poison, and I think I protected my body from that before jumping into it. So all that, long story short, I hate chemo. I agree that it's awful.
I like how you're explaining this, because I mean, I've been wanting to have people on that have that perspective and really get their mindset, because my concept when I come to these podcasts and stuff like that, I want people to learn something from the episode. And this is a good topic to talk about, because I'm very adamant. I've had countless family members that have passed due to cancer, and they've been on chemo for 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, stuff like that. And sadly, I I always hate to talk about it, but I did currently lose my father-in-law due to cancer, and he was on chemo for at least about 5 to 6 years, almost 7. Oh yeah, 5 to 6 years now. So it's like he battled through it. I literally said this was one of the most positive guys I've ever seen that's ever been on chemo, and that, like you said, there were some days that he would be very sick, that he would just lay around, wouldn't want to do nothing. And there's sometimes that he would get up in the morning. He always made sure he got up in the morning, which is sad. Before he found out he had cancer, he was a little bit of weight. And I remember it was the summertime. It was really to help his daughter, get into an exercising mentality, because they found this thing called Orange Theory. And they were all really excited about this workout thing. Like all of them were very dedicated. They did a fitness
training.
challenge.
It's 30 minutes.
Yeah. All of them. I mean, I told him I would only be able to do it once a week. Like literally, it's like a CrossFit thing for me. Like I ain't trying to lose everything. I'm already 180 pounds happy right now. I don't need to lose any more weight when it comes to my stature. But I was like, the same point. It was something to motivate them, and it was making them look forward to it. And I remember Sam literally was losing so much weight. He was looking healthy, everything. Like he lost a lot of weight. And then when we found out he got, diagnosed with cancer and stuff like that, it really just struck. And I mean, I've never seen somebody so positive that had that answer. Like I remember when he gave the phone call to my wife, and like she lost it. Which it was sad because the way everything had to happen was we just had our daughter, and he's gotten that mindset. Hey, you got my granddaughter. I'm gonna spend all the time I can with her and stuff like that. And him getting on this cancer standpoint, and of course, his wife, very experienced, in the medical field and stuff like that. Which I really still say to this day, he probably wouldn't have lived as long as he did if she wasn't there to help him and, guide him through this whole thing, which it was tough. Like when he went insulin with chemo, obviously he did the chewable thing. I think they did some other ones. I don't know the full thing on how chemo fully goes, but it was just like, he didn't lose his hair. He decided to shave his head. And, it was just like, it's just crazy how this chemo thing is supposed to help cure the cancer standpoint. But in reality, it's also a very tough thing for you to put in your body, because it might cure that cancer standpoint, but it might also do stuff to you in the same process. But it's based off of your body. It's based off how you take it. And like how you just said, you played around with that idea for a little bit. You didn't just strictly go to it. And then your scenario, you were just like, hey, I didn't really have a choice, whatever it comes to this scenario. But it's like, you have that other option. And you look at it before you just go, all right, let's go ahead and go do this. Strap me to the seat, and Lord only knows what's next, whatever happens. So, I mean, I've always wanted to talk to some people that really have went through this, because I can only imagine, being in that hospital, like it's just a normal day. Like you're just thinking, okay, hey, blood drawn, something, whatever. And they tell you this stuff, because in our minds, first and foremost, especially anywhere, it doesn't even matter if you're in the US or not, or Canada or wherever, you hear the word cancer, you're shutting down, because it's like, what can I do? What fight do I got left? What's the statistic standpoint when it comes to this?
Well, when you're like a 30 something year old woman,
you're looking at it like,
pretty healthy.
I'm not that age to have this. Like
I lost my mind. I did. I went down a dark time there, because when you're told you're 37, you think you're somebody before, you're healthy, you work out, you meal prep, you go to the gym 5 days a week, you work out, everything. And then, I mean, out of everyone I had known, I didn't think it would be me. Then I got it, and it's like, and then it had burst, and it was in my appendix, and it had burst and spit the cancer everywhere. I went through 3 surgeries in 8 months. I've had 2 2 colonoscopies. I've been put under 5 times. You're only supposed to be put under like once every few years, you know, and it's like your life changes and your mentality. It's hard, you know. It's hard for someone to be able to jump out of that, and I had to though. Like if I would have stayed down that path, I would have let the word cancer take over me. But I wasn't going to allow it. I have a 4-year-old little boy and he's just got me, you know, like, and I think the biggest thing from that is just you have to have that support, so, like a good support system around you, and make sure you just try and stay positive in all of it.
And it's so hard sometimes to stay positive.
It is.
Allowed myself little freak out moments, and I found that I didn't even need them. Like I'm not saying like to fake it till you make it, but kind of like I wasn't trying to repress anything. I wasn't trying to be you know, what is it, disingenuous with my feelings, but I legit was positive about my outcome. And then the odd time I was feeling stressed, I would give myself a few minutes to have a little cry, a little freak out, you know, vent to my husband kind of thing, and then I'd be back at it and positive. And I really believe that how positive, well, both of us were, you know, really helped us. Like, because your body hears it, right? Your body hears when you say, like, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to die, I'm going to do this. It's going to hear that. It also hears when you say, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to get stronger than I ever was. So, you know, a lot of it has to do with choice, for sure. Not letting yourself become the victim, not being like, woe is me because cancer got me. Yeah, it sucks. Cancer did get us. And for whatever reason, the universe chose that for us. But, you know, we're also choosing to take our power back now. We lost our power for a while, and now it's ours again.
Because cancer is just a word, not a sentence. And people forget that, you know?
And I love how you just said that. Cancer is just a word.
It is. And
it's something that strikes a nerve into a body, because like I just like we've all just said, you know, cancer, look at the statistic standpoint. How many people have officially beaten it and says, I'm still here, cancer didn't get me? You two actually can say that. And that's a very slim percentage in reality. Like I said it countless times. My grandfather, he had cancer for over 7 years. My father-in-law, he had it over for almost 6 years. And just seeing these things, and like I said, man, just seeing this positive aspect that he was to his girls and his wife and stuff, was just like, he had his off days, but we never knew it because he wouldn't show it. And it's like, when it came to almost that very ending standpoint, and you could just tell, like, he can't do nothing about it. The biggest thing that really got him more emotional was, you know, seeing his granddaughter, seeing his daughters and stuff like that. And it was just like, that's when I started realizing, I'm like, I'm just hoping another miracle can happen. Because I remember when we were in that cancer facility and he got to ring that bell. It's really cool moment.
It's emotional.
I never got to ring.
It's just insane. It's just insane because like he rang that bell and not even a year later, that was done. So it's like, you know, seeing all that stuff, like what is all transpired and stuff. So it's just insane when you look at the overall thing of what it can affect. And that's like anything. When you go through a rough day, if you let that rough day just sit there and drag you down, it's going to be the toughest day you've experienced in your mind. I do want to talk about this. I actually just experienced this with my son, him being in and out in Atlanta, him being in a hospital, you know, emergency room with just kids and stuff. Seeing these kids go through the most traumatic stuff I've ever witnessed for a kid to go through. I remember witnessing, because my son had like a schedule. It was like a college schedule. And like, I haven't seen a schedule like this since I played basketball. And it was a schedule where he had his PT, his mobility, his speech, everything. Because of him having spinal infusion surgery, it affected a lot of his everything. So he had to work. So he's basically having to process his body like he's a newborn again, which is insane to say that at 12 years old.
That's crazy.
And me witnessing kids crying that they can't pick up pencils. and stuff like that. It really done something to me to where I'm looking at it like, man, there's no such thing as a dang bad day. Like, I look at this so much differently now, and I've told my wife, which my wife stresses so much, and I just look at her and go, hey, are we still here? Is there a roof over our head? Do you have a family? Stuff like that. Like, you got to look at those big, like y'all just said, that support system does wonders.
And do I have one more day to love this person? You know, that's something you really take for granted until you're faced with your own mortality or in your child's mortality or whatever, someone close to you. You know, you take advantage of you not seeing that person every day.
Right.
When I was thinking, hey, there's a chance that I'm not going to see my kids graduate or get married or my grandbabies or anything like that, man, that killed me. Not killed me. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. That hurt me a lot.
Close.
I don't like to say that killed me because it's such like a negative connotation. I don't.
Yeah.
But we did literally almost die, so I guess we can say.
Well, I guess.
I mean, and I like how y'all could talk like it's a joke now. Like, obviously, me being in pro wrestling, we joke about a lot of things, but when I really messed up my neck and I got hurt, and a doctor literally told me, hey, you keep this up, and showed me 2 different scans and looked at it and said, hey, tell me which one you think is yours. And I said, I don't know. They both look the same. And he compared me to like a very elder human. And it was like, bro, I'm only 28 years old at that time. 28 years old at that time. And I'm like, how am I compared to that? And he's like, this is where your path is going. And it struck me because, like I said, I just had my newborn daughter and I couldn't lift her. I couldn't pick her up because my neck, I'm tight. Like, it's locked like this. I couldn't go like this. So I really know I can't lift my arms up. And it was like that for 5 days straight. And it scared me.
I bet.
And it really done something to me because, I mean, I'm very, very, when it comes to something, I'm that one person. If I tell you, hey, I'm dedicated, if I'm locked in to do something, like, you know, I'm fully invested in getting that done. And I'm determined to stay in there. I'm stubborn, which I still have that aspect sometimes, but I've gotten more of like, you know, hey, there's more on this branch than just myself at that time. And when I couldn't lift her, and I was just like, it hit me, and I was just like, you know, hey, I may have a title, I may have this, stuff like that, but
it's
not worth it.
No.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And I mean,
it.
it's tough. It was tough. Don't get me wrong. It was tough when I had to really say, hey, I'm done. Because I finally was a champ. Finally succeeding in some things that I've always thought I never could do. And when it was gone, like, it was tough. But I mean, like I tell people all the time, man, just holding your child is more than a drop kick, more than a jump shot or something like that. So, like, when you see these things happen visually, first thing at hand, and it happens to someone that matters to you or happens to yourself, it makes you go in that step back, because we all go through these things like, hey, you know, especially, great example, you know, people that talk about they go through their darkest times at night. You don't know how someone feels that night. You don't know how someone's going through that day and stuff like that. And like I say it all the time, I don't know how someone could take their life and stuff like that, but you don't know that until you go through that same thing. And you going through what y'all went through, I can only imagine what was. So I do want to know, because obviously y'all connected based off of having cancer, which is crazy to say. Like, this is the most traumatizing moment of your life, but in a reality,
but
it gave y'all a blessing at the same time, because you have someone not only can relate to you, but y'all connect. And obviously I can tell from both of y'all right now, like, y'all have gotten so extremely close due to something that was very traumatic in y'all's life. Like, how did that exceptionally grow to where it is now between you two?
Losing.
So there was another girl from our town, and we're not in a big town, 30,000 maybe. And she was, I think, early 40s maybe. And we connected with her as well individually. I connected with her, and then I connected with Ashley, and then Ashley had connected with her. And she had passed away in October. And it was like a week or two after I finished chemo. And And I remember getting the message from her saying, I'm going downhill. Like, if you want to come see me, do it now. And I went there and it was awful. It was so heartbreaking. And then the next day I left to go on vacation. And the day I got there, I found out that she had passed, and I reached out to her.
And I was just in my surgery, I think.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, you are. And
Oh, wow.
and the two of us were just so heartbroken. This was when I think I had my biggest breakdown, because this girl had also gone to Mexico. She was doing a lot of holistic as well. And, you know, we had some of the same doctors. We both went to the same naturopath. And I thought, like, you know, if she didn't survive, like, what chance do I have? Right. And her and I just connected over that, like, as weird as that is.
It's like we realized that we needed each other the most, and we had to be there for each other. It was like reality set in, I guess, because you don't really know, are you gonna die, are you gonna live, like, what's gonna happen? You know, with my cancer, there's just keep going on with your life. There's nothing we can do for you besides surgery. And it's like, okay, you know, but
it was such a reality that this disease does take people. It doesn't matter how young you are, or, you know, how many supplements and stuff you're on. If it's your time, it's your time. And that was like such an eye opener to Ashley and I. And we thought, you know, we really need to connect,
step up and be there more
closer, because at this point we'd been chatting since March, but because of her health and my health, we actually never got together. And it wasn't until this girl's funeral, I was like, I'm coming to pick you up. And then from then we just started hanging out more often. And
then
we got the idea for the podcast. And then now, I mean, we're together all the time now. And
3 times a week.
Her new boyfriend is a guy I grew up with. So it's like,
cool.
Yeah. Because I'm from this town. Well, I moved here when I was young, but, you know, to have that kind of connection is really cool.
It's just all in a full circle. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I love how, in a way, y'all are saying, like, y'all are two just random people, and y'all both go through something that's very traumatic. Y'all connect just based off of your brother. And it's like, you know, maybe it was literally, I don't know how y'all would say this, but I mean, it's more of a blessing at the same time, because y'all have built a friendship that's so exceptionally unbreakable, because not a lot of friendships can say that they went through something this traumatic. Obviously, you know, one friend goes through what, and you got to be there, support them, but both friends going through something, it doesn't matter if it's the same one or not, it's going through that together.
It's kind of like when war friends come back, not saying that there's like war, but you know, when war friends come back, they have a bond that's so different than other people. And, you know, their friends might try to empathize, but they can never sympathize with what they've gone through. So a little bit of PTSD. We
tons for me.
You struggle with it.
Like when she'll message me, she's got her pain, and then she has to go to the hospital, because like in our minds, like when something happens, like my lymph nodes were swelling up the other day, and it's our minds go to cancer. It's like, great,
she's
our
like,
cancer
again. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're just getting a
you know,
cold.
or like she'll go to the hospital and she'll get checked, and because in our minds, it's like, it very well could be, you know, like just yesterday the doctor said it will come back, and it's like, okay, and we have to sit with that in our minds, but other people don't understand that, because they haven't gone through it. But for us, it's like we always have that worry. You know, we try and be as positive as we can, but you can't fight it. It's always there. You know.
Yeah. So how's the family deal with that scenario? Like you just said, if one or the other calls and say, "Hey, we gotta go to the hospital," is like everything shut down? Like everyone kind of like in a panic mode, or is it just like, "Hey, it'll be okay"?
No, because I think we tell each other it mostly. I try not to open up too much with other people, because I don't want to scare them.
Right.
I don't want to put them through
My
it.
husband is ridiculously stable. Like every time I'd be having a freak out, he'd be like, "You're gonna be fine." Like almost to the point where I'm like, "Do you even care? Like, do you not understand what your wife is going through?" He was like straight face.
I could probably relate to a lot that he goes through.
Yeah,
my wife panics about everything.
That's
Love you, hon. But if anybody wants to know anything about my wife, you can go watch the episode that I made the effort and courage to have her on. And yeah, it was one of the best listened episodes I've had. And yeah, it was an episode. But my wife is one of these people, which I know when she hears this, she's gonna laugh and then come at me at the same time. My wife is one of these people who goes, "Hey, I stubbed my toe. Let me ask Google, find out what happened." And you know, Google.
Cancer.
We gotta talk about the most devastating things at first before we can talk about, oh, just put ice on, you're good. No, we're gonna talk about, oh, your foot can possibly burst and if you walk sideways. My wife will literally freak out. Oh my gosh. And I'm gonna be like, nope, just sit down, put ice on it, you'll be all right.
Yes.
Make sure you scroll down 4 things down before you freak out on an info standpoint. Love you, hon. But I mean, I love how you talked about, you know, does your husband care? Because I get in trouble numerous times by her family, and obviously my mom's been trying to help me with it a little bit. I have very hard time to show emotion, and I've went through a good amount, like I said, with my son and stuff like that. So I've kind of been at that point where I just don't show it much. Because I feel like that's my guard standpoint. Not necessarily a guard, but I feel like that's where I know I'm at my stable standpoint. Because if I freak out, she freaks out.
Right.
If I freak out, people are really going to wonder what's up because I don't really react to a lot. So, of course, like I said, my wife's standpoint, if she does something, I've got to be, you know, like it's a normal day type scenario. Because if I freak out, boy, we all going somewhere. Because my wife will literally lose it, and it's crazy because I remember when we first started dating, I never believed in anxiety. I never believed in all these things, and I got with my wife, and I realized anxiety is a big thing. My wife. Like there were certain things because I just don't believe in medicine. I'm sorry. It's just not my thing. And I was just like, I don't know why you got to take medicine for this quote unquote anxiety thing. Like we get in arguments because I'm just like, you just want to live off of a pill.
Yeah. Like go out in nature and heal it for yourself when people are.
Yeah. That's what I'm like. But I get it, and it's very hard to control, and I understand it now completely. But there is a lot of downfalls for it, and my wife has been learning how to, you know, kind of weed off of it a little bit. But there's those moments that trigger it, especially you know what happened. So I'm like okay with a standpoint now because I've seen my wife have an anxiety attack, and I was just like, that's a thing. And I've never noticed it, but I'm like, because I've used to say, man, it's in your head. It's in your head. It's in your head. But when you personally see it, and it's like, man, it makes someone do that. Like this little sweet girl that looks like she'd be the innocent thing in the world, sucker turned into the damn Incredible Hulk just out of 2 seconds. And I'm just like, why weren't you like this when I was moving the furniture? I could have had your help right here. Which I get in trouble all the time because I make really kind of funny jokes on it. I don't want to try to like sound like I'm roasting her, but I mean, I just kind of like make that kind of standpoint and make a little entertainment aspect because I mean, there's a lot of tough, traumatic stuff that you have to talk about and stuff. And it has to help you to be comfortable to talk about.
These are called defense mechanisms. And we're just, we're just trying to not make light of a dark situation, but you know, if it makes it a little more comfortable.
I joke all the time about it.
Oh yeah, totally. Me too.
I didn't die, or the lady asked me how far along I was because my stomach swells up, and I'm like, oh, it's just cancer. She's like, I'm like, no, it's fine. It's okay. It's just cancer.
No, I quite often will say things about like being bald or like
right.
I remember when I first heard about cancer, and I always thought my first instinct is, oh man, someone's gonna be bald. Like that's the first instinct, and I remember a lot of people freak out, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my hair. And there's people that don't have that problem, even when they go through chemo stuff. Like it just matters of how their body is able
Everyone's
to take
different.
I believed that my body was also going to be like that. No, not the case. I was like, I'm not going to be that person. Well, my body's going to be so strong. I'm going to keep all my hair. No, that's 2 weeks later.
So did y'all make
Falling
any
out the butt.
changes after y'all were in remission, or y'all still like that strict routine? Like Ashley, you said, you know, hey, you were strictly, you know, meal plans, going to the
Oh,
gym regularly,
I'm
stuff like
even
that.
worse now. I
Really?
juice every day. I still meal prep. I got like 100 supplements I take.
Oh, wow.
I just I want to make sure that I live for my son. You know, I want to watch him grow up. Sadly, with the neuroendocrine cancer, it come back. Once it hits a major organ, it'll take your life. But I don't want to be that statistic.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that saved my life besides my surgeries in the holistic aspect was live blood analysis, because when they pretty much sent me, the oncologist, they sent me on my way. They told me that there was nothing they could do right now until it hit a major organ. And then I was like, well, this isn't good enough for me. And I went and got my blood live tested. I had microscopic parasites, heavy metals, mold, fungus, blood clots, and my liver was failing. So it takes 4 months for your red blood cells to turn over. We got me on a heavy detox. We killed the parasites. We got everything out of my blood, cleaned it up. And I feel like for me personally, if I didn't go down that road, I don't think I'd be here today, because my body was so like.
Well, parasite alone is so hard on your body, and it just makes you.
They were
so
killing me.
weak. Yeah, and a lot of people do believe that cancer is caused by parasites.
Or they're peeing in you, like they're disgusting. If you do the research on it, it's gross, But I do believe, like, if that's one piece of advice that I could offer to anyone who's struggling with cancer or know somebody that has, is go get your blood checked, live blood analysis. That's the biggest thing for me. I always promote it because I swear by it. I honestly probably would have been dead by my 3rd surgery.
Wow.
Well, your body would have been super weak, right? Like if you weren't.
The cancer would have kept growing because it literally spit it everywhere.
But if you weren't relying on supplementation and vitamins and
because
protocols
that I had put in place for myself,
What's the really, like you just said, you take 100 supplements, something like that. What's the
probably
main?
Not that much, but
what's the main supplement that you know for a fact has made a major difference?
Well, it's salt, Celtic sea salt, because it actually helps bring the water into your body, into your cells. It hydrates you. That one I like. Chlorophyll also, because it's one molecule off of our blood. That's plant blood. So I take that one. Which other one?
All of them.
God, I know.
So
There's a lot of supplements now, which it's
is.
crazy to think. Like the thing is that drives me nuts when I talk about, with the gym and stuff like that, is the research standpoint. Like, it's a good go-to. Like, you go to the gym, and then it's not necessarily you have to lift weights or whatever, but it's like it does make it a longer stint for you. Like you just said, you want to live for your son. It helps you go play with your son. It helps you
even your mind
activities. Yep.
Like for me,
you gotta have a lot of a mindset to deal with a child. I'm not even gonna lie. My 5-year-old keeps me in the gym. I joke about it. The wrestling is just for me standpoint, but I have to be in the gym to keep up with this 5-year-old, because this one is a miniature Red Bull can that I'm having. I literally say the most toughest competitor I've ever had to deal with in my life is this 5-year-old. When it comes to me keeping up with her, people look at me all the time like, if we go to a trampoline park, I'm on the trampoline with her, playing around with her and stuff. They're like, how do you do that? Like, I remember everyone used to say, man, when you hit 30, you better enjoy it now, because when you hit 30, you ain't going to do all that. I'm 33 and I'm still in trampoline and stuff, hanging out with her. And they're just like, where do you get all this energy? I'm like,
diet exercise,
right?
Like, it's just those things. Like, I get it. Everybody wants to be that dad bod and everything else. I'm like, man.
No, these are just excuses. positive self-image thing. What is it? Love your body, whatever body you're in. Okay, that's great. It's great to have confidence, but like at the end of the day, if you're not actively exercising and eating properly and taking care of yourself, you're not going to have a long life. You're not going to have a long, fulfilling life by any means. You're not going to have the energy to do the things that you want to do. And if you've got kids, it's not fair to them because you didn't want to take care of yourself. Plus, you're setting them up, I think, for failure.
And that's usually when they react and just get attention at the standpoint is if you're not able to participate with them. Because I've learned that with my 5-year-old. My 5-year-old needs all the attention and some more. So my child will literally react, do all this crazy stuff, and I'm just looking at him like, yeah, you can sit down. You can sit down. And it's just like, she'll just stare at me. And she knows that she's about to get in trouble. Because the funny thing is, when she's with me, I don't really have much problem with her, but when mommy comes home, we're going to play. Let's see how much daddy gets an argument today with. Because it's like when first thing mommy gets up through the door, anything that dad says is out the window. And I'm just looking at him like, yeah. Because my biggest thing is I've been having trouble right now because I'm against the spanking aspect, but I'm just like, man, something's got to change to teach the kids how to learn because they like to get a reaction out of us more than anything. And it's just like, I've looked at remedies. I'm like, hey, put them in the corner, stuff like that. And then I remember I got somebody said, oh yeah, that's shunning them, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, all right, there's just going to be one or the other. Like, I know. Discipline's going to have to happen regardless of we're going to have these kids reacting like how these celebrities and stuff are acting nowadays. And it's ridiculous.
I believe discipline.
I think about like how our parents parented. You know, we're all similar. I'm 37, she's 38, so we're similar age with you. You know, my parents had no problem just
spanking.
I know. My family
with whatever, they're fine.
Now it's abusive. You even
that's considered. It would be abuse of what my family used to do to me. I mean, I remember I get spanked with a belt and stuff, but I mean, it's made me react. I remember the funniest one when my grandmother, which I laugh about all the time. I said my grandma was alive to this day, and she hears what supposedly abuses to punishment.
Right nowadays.
I remember my grandma would tell us, "Hey, go get me a switch." So my cousin was funny, and he got her this little stick like this big. She like looked at us and said, "All right, I'll come back." She come back with this switch about this big. When I say this thing had some reach on it, my grandma ain't got the best wrist control. But that long thing was like a limbo, and you're just sitting there trying to dance around this big old stick, hitting your legs back and forth. I literally said it countless times. I said that is the worst pain that happens. I'd rather take a belt. Belt happens instantly and it's done. Hopefully, you're going to feel a burn for a little bit, but it's done. Right. But a switch standpoint, oh man, it feels like ants just went up your legs and it's just consistently biting you the whole day. And I remember, and I'm just like, I mean, I get the generated aspect and we adapt standpoint, but it's like, what is right and what is wrong? But something has to learn for these kids to learn, you know, control, discipline, and stuff like that. But I do want to talk about before we finish off this episode is the podcast standpoint. 2 girls with cancer. How's that been going? How's experiences standpoint with podcasting? And what was the ideas of getting into the podcast?
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, we're still trying to navigate, like we're not overly techie. And I mean, Ashley has quite a good social media presence as well. I've been in social media jail for years because of how many conspiracy posts I used to post. So, you know, trying to get that sort of viewership or whatever from my end is very difficult. A lot easier for Ashley. So
we need to promote the episode on Ashley's Facebook, right? Like, because you're probably in Facebook jail again.
My TikToks.
I'm not even joking. Like we both have access to the same TikTok page. I will post something. And so there was 3 in a row that I posted. The first one, the sound got removed. It was literally just me talking about juicing, which is not offensive or anything. I had one warning. I had a clip about doing coffee enemas. I religiously do coffee enemas. and it gave us a warning and said, and did
I
you
had to delete it?
Okay,
I
it
had
gave us
to.
a warning saying that it was
couldn't be up there no longer.
dangerous misinformation. And then another one, I just kept posting it and it wouldn't go anywhere. 0 views, 0 views, 0 views.
So I got her to send it to me.
She took the same post, posted it within minutes, hundreds of views. And I was like, what is happening? But I say, like, in 2020, the election year, I followed it like religiously. Like, I followed this thing and I was so anti everything. I mean, 2020 was a weird year for everybody. And I would post about it. And the week of your election, I'm not even American, okay? I'm a Canadian. The week of your election, my Facebook got completely deleted. My Instagram got deleted. I had 3 Instagrams, like thousands and thousands of followers, all deleted. My banking got broken into and hacked. Like, all of this in one day, in the week of the election. And when I tried to remake accounts, I couldn't. It said my IP address was flagged. I had to drive to my friend's house in the city, use his computer, make a new email, make a new Instagram page, and do it. So anyone who thinks that like social media jail is not a thing, it is. And even 4 years later, Ashley and I are posting the same thing. My IP address is flagged, hers is not. So anyway.
But they'll probably catch on that I'm hopefully not.
So now, you know, I joke, I'm like, I just really want us to get followers, but Joe Biden hates me. So but yeah, other than that, like, podcasting has been a lot of fun. It's a great outlet to talk about what we're going through. Like we said,
and to help
cathartic and to help people, right?
So they know that they're not alone. You know, it's the hardest thing doing it alone. And then we found each other. But for other people who out there who may not have this opportunity or know somebody going through it, we're here for them, right?
To know that, like, the things that you go through, the side effects of it, the embarrassing things that you go through, the body, I wouldn't say dysmorphia, but like the changes in your body, the scars.
It's already in your head standpoint. And I think that's the thing. And I've learned this, obviously, you know, being married now. I remember I had an episode where someone was talking about PCOS. I can't remember what the actual thing was really called.
Polycystic ovarians.
And she was, and when we got done recording, she's like, I just couldn't believe how it was so comfortable to talk to you about something like that. And I told her, I said, don't get this wrong. If I was in my 20s, I wouldn't have gave a damn about anything that was said. Like,
but you're married.
I know for a fact I've gotten wiser when it comes to some of these things, because I'm just like, you would never in your life have me sit here and listen to something like that, unless if I was a married man or something like that. Because my wife was even like, I'm very impressed with you, like, because she knows most of the audience is more male actually and stuff like that. To do stuff like that. And I tell people all the time, like, I don't have a particular type when it comes to, you know, subject for an episode. Right. Like, I literally have this like a talk show feel. And it's like, I got a lot of feedback onto that episode. And it was like a lot of women were like messaging me like, hey, we got a lot of respect for you to sit there and listen to someone talk about something like that, because you don't hear that on the men's type of podcast.
But it's also cool.
And like, and I had some men talk about it too, and they're like, hey, and they were screenshotting and asked me, hey, do you think she could ask her about this and this? Wow. And I was just like, oh my goodness, now I'm Google. I'm not trying to be that, but it's like, it's so cool to talk about certain things like that, because like, it's not in my comfort zone, but in a way you can learn something from it.
And with PCOS, like, it causes major weight gain and girls get beards. Like, and so, like, instead of having
it creeped me out for a second. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, okay. And I'm like, bless your heart. And then like she would just, and the funny thing, she's from Canada too. She lives in Canada as well. So it was like her talking about it, and I was just like, dang, like, they really get a lot of, you know, the medical standpoints a lot more taken care of and stuff like that. And it's just like, dang, like, all right, this is interesting. Because I literally said, like, if I was 21, 22, I would never agree to put this episode in my library. But it's like, you do need to learn some of this stuff, because it's like, these
are real things affecting real people.
Yeah. In a way, I heard men can get it. And I'm just like, all right, I never would have thought of that, but okay. And it's like, you know, in certain ways, it's just learn to, you know, what your option could be. And that's something that people got to realize is you have that choice to take that road. Like Ashley, you said you have that choice, you know, to be down in the dumps and like, damn, I got cancer, my life's over. But you have a 4-year-old boy that you literally want to live for. Like, see him go to school, see him graduate, see all these achievements. And Becky, you were literally at that point, it's like, hey, chemo is not my answer instantly, and I'm gonna look at every resource I could. Like, bless your heart, going to Mexico, and they literally just told you, hey, you got chemo.
Damn it.
I was
this is
destined
not
to
the answer.
Yeah, right. But like, I think I needed the humbling because I was so anti-pharmaceutical. I was pious, like I was on a high horse, and so and not that I think the pharmaceutical companies are great or super helpful. Like I still believe that, but I think I did need to be humbled a little bit. And I was.
We all learn.
Yeah.
I think everything in life, we learn something every day, you know, and that's the great thing about the journey.
I always talk about this. I have a mindset every single day. I actually have a t-shirt now made with it. So if anybody want to check it, go to bonfire/Buzzing With Marlowe, and you can check out every setback makes one heck of a comeback. And I live by that every single day. For some reason, I always had a setback. There was another door waiting for me to open. It was just the fact that I had to close the door that I felt like that was the one that was for me. And, you know, and I tell people all the time, like, it may take a year, it may take 2, may take 3, but you gotta go through this to excel, to get to that next open door.
If you view everything as a journey to get you to be the best version of yourself instead of attacks, the universe hates me, or why can't I succeed, or whatever, be a victim, and your mindset changes.
Oh yeah, in the beginning when I got it, I was mad. I was so pissed off.
Like,
I was like, oh, I can't, what? And then after, like, it wouldn't have got me where I am today. I wouldn't have changed. You know, not that I wasn't who I wanted to be then, but there was things that I wanted to be better at and grow. And I think it brought me to the place where I needed to be now, so I can help people and we can grow together and, you know, just be there for people. Be better.
Hey, I love that. Hey, that's perfect. All right, so Ashley, Becky, is there any last words that y'all want to do? Guys, check them out, man. 2 Girls with Cancer. Check their podcast out. Y'all can reveal which platforms and stuff like that. I'm definitely going to tune into a couple of them just because I want to listen to, like, because I can tell from y'all's personality and stuff. Like, even though y'all go through something like this, I talk about this one particular guest I had before. Her name was, she was doing something about pageantry. My behind, I always said, hey, you can talk about any and everything. No topics are off limits and da-da-da-da. And then I had this one sweet, sweet lady come in my inbox, go, hey, I've been listening to your podcast. Big fan. I think we could talk about this. I literally was dreading this episode because I knew for a fact I wasn't going to be invested into it. I wasn't going to know nothing about the pageantry thing, all that.
Like Toddlers and Tiaras pageant?
Oh, man. Let me tell you, it was one of the most best episodes I've ever done with an interview standpoint, just because of the attitude and just the way that she presented herself talking about this. And she was going through the cancer at that time.
Oh, wow.
Which is insane to say. She was going through stage 4 cancer at that time.
Wow.
And for her to be as comedic standpoint, stuff like that, and she's like, well, hopefully I don't die when you publish the episode because I've got stage 4. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm thinking, luckily it was audio standpoint because I didn't do video yet, but I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, like,
what do I say?
Well, this is like her memoir. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not. This was like my 2nd year into the podcast industry. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna have to play this at someone's funeral? Like, what is happening? And like, how funny she was. And then after the air, she was just joking and laughing. Like, she was going through chemo, but she literally just opened up a kids' gymnasium for gymnastics and stuff like that. So when she was in chemo, she would go outside, throw up whatever she had to do, and then go right back and help these kids tumble and stuff. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, it was just that it made such a huge mindset with me when it comes to that. So is there any last things y'all want to say, guys? Like I said, man, check their podcast out. Two Girls with Cancer.
Yes,
Floor
you
is
can
yours.
find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and then for listening is Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just Two Girls with Cancer. 2 is the word, not the number. Yeah, what do you want to let his viewers know?
Thank you. Thank you for having
Very
us on.
popular on social media. Very
come,
popular.
Come on down. I share a lot of recipes. We're going to start juicing together.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I would say just from my standpoint, like if you are a person going through something, advocate for yourself and believe that your body can handle it, and take care of yourself and love yourself. I could go on forever.
Tell yourself if you're a woman, you're beautiful. If a man, you're handsome. Tell yourself you can do anything you put your mind to. You know, be your own hype person, because it will actually change your life.
That could go on a t-shirt. Be your own hype person. I like that.
Right?
That's actually a really good motto. That one really, especially in this world today, I think you do need motivations. You definitely need that incentive to kind of like feel good, because I mean there's a lot of negativity in the world.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like there's definitely, you need those humbling moments at times. So Ashley, Becky, I want to thank y'all for joining me today, man. This was absolutely a blast. Y'all are more than welcome to come on anytime y'all want. Y'all let me know. We will definitely set this up. And I'm definitely offering, if y'all ever want an extra guest or whatever, y'all let me know.
Please.
I don't really ever go on podcasts and talk about cancer or anything, but you know, hey, I can just tell from y'all's personality and stuff, it would be absolutely a blast.
We would love to have you on.
Hey, we'll definitely set this up. But guys, I want to thank everybody for listening. Guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure y'all like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Go to their YouTube channel, Two Girls with Cancer. TWO, not the number, TWO.
Yeah.
Girls with Cancer. Follow them, subscribe to them, and support these girls, man. Thank y'all, guys, and I hope y'all had a great episode with this great group. And of course, guys, we will see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.